Welcome to the book with Suze. This week we are turning the pages of Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO, authored by TANG TASI, Honorable TANG TASI. That is how he's popularly known. A gripping tale of resilience, culture, and of course, empowerment. Join us as we unpack the journey of Enanga, navigating taboos, traditions, and her own strength. I am in the moon right now because the Honorable TASI Lucas has accepted to be guest on the book with Susie. You're so very much welcome to this program.
Thank you very much. I am humbled and honored.
Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO is one of your best narratives. How does this make you feel?
I feel so good because I am a book advocate, and as a senior citizen, I find a lot of therapy in writing. So this is the first message I want to share with our televiewers, that idleness is a disease. And when you have left a mark in the civil service, as a businessman, and there comes a time you can work no more, take up your pen, put down something for posterity.
Okay, you've just told us that your passion for writing is, or have no limit. Your passion for writing has no limit. Talk to us how you got inspired by this book that we are reading today, Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO.
Yes, let me start by saying that many authors are usually living certain settings in their writing. I worked many years in the Southwest region. I was a journalist in Kumba, vice principal in Kumba. I was a journalist in Buya. So I spent many years in the Southwest. And I admired the average BAKWERIan. They are noble, and they believe in the breed of civility and hybriding. So I decided to capture a scene in Buya, taking Enanga to Victoria. And the name happens to be Enanga. Those who know me know that my late wife was called Enanga, but it has nothing to do with her. Okay. So my inspiration was to put in fiction some of the things that happen in some places, particularly in the Southwest region, with focus on the BAKWERIans.
Okay. The title is very, very much attractive, and it tells a story, Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO. A lot of people will want to grab a copy and will want to read. Now I would like you, to give us a foretaste of what they will get when they pick up that copy.
Yes, you mentioned it in your initial message. There are many conflicts raised in that book. A beautiful girl born in a noble family who went to school, fairly a woman, when a girl was a girl, it was really a problem in the school for her to be schooling with schoolmates and teachers who were looking at her. The other challenge is that she fiddled with a few friends. Readers will read it, and young people hardly ever know this, and then was pregnant. And she had the courage to tell her mother because of the closeness between Mama and the daughter, which is beautiful. And then, of course, as a Christian mother, it took time for her to digest it. But since time solves problems, she had to accept it. Then she was upward bound and went to Okoyong when she had a baby. And then the Reverend sisters discovered this, and out of compassionate reasons, they decided not to let her have her education because she was bright. Today, people will be quarreling about pregnancy and schooling. Anyway, these are some of the issues.
There's just more to what he has explained to us right now. That's the reason why you need to get a copy of Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO, and read. You will definitely love the story.
This novel, entitled Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO, by Lucas TASI, is a thrilling narrative about a pretty lady in the person of Enanga. Enanga is a BAKWERI girl, which means he hails from the BAKWERI tribe. And it should be noted that Enanga is pretty, she's intelligent, and she is ambitious. The story takes Enanga to the home of the Basis, where he serves as a nanny house help. And due to her duty consciousness and her intelligence, this wonderful couple decide to register Enanga in a school so that she can be able to continue with her education. Due to her smartness, he is able to complete her education. But along the way, something really happens that brings so much sorrow, not just to her, but to her family. She gets pregnant, and due to the complications of pregnancy, she stays away from school for some time. But towards the end of the story, we realize that he actually completes her education, gets a job in a bank in Kumba, gets married. Although her marriage seems to be beset with some ill luck, she's unable to conceive. But due to the assistance of a herbalist, she's able to give birth, and she's able to conceive. Now, what is very important about this novel is the fact that it portrays a clear picture of life in Cameroon, especially in the English regions of Cameroon in the 1960s. Some of the themes that are revealed in this novel include materialism, education, sexual immorality, and professionalism. It is indeed a work that makes the reader to know the true life, to have an idea of the life of Cameroonians, especially English-speaking Cameroonians in the 1960s. And it also threw more light on the complications that young ladies face while in school. One of her faults, or some of the things that brings her sadness, is her beauty, because everybody who sees her wants to get married to her or wanted to have some sexual relationship with her. And it's because of her beauty that makes her unable to pursue her studies smoothly, like what the other guys in her classes.
You're welcome back. TANG Lucas is the author of Enanga, Princess of MOLA FAKO. A book like this one is dedicated not only to the African girl child, but also the African woman. What reading do you have of this gender?
It's very critical a question. Mother is gold. Sweet mother, we say. When you look at population issues, and you are talking about gender issues, in African societies, the woman is playing a lead role in everything, birth, marriage, and death. But the image people have of her is that she's neglected, she's isolated. It's not true. They work covertly for society. And so I strongly believe in protecting the image of the girl child. That is why in writing this book, which the stories around the 60s, I selected a girl child of the 60s when a girl was really a girl. With taxi drivers around, they're always around. With motor park loaders around, they're always around. With passengers traveling and admiring a girl who is going to school and finding out why she is not married instead of opted to go to school instead of marrying. So I strongly believe in protecting the woman because she's a powerful element of our culture and tradition.
And when you look at the young girls today, who are kind of plunged, immersed in our modern society. Do you have the same reading?
It is definitely different. It is different, and I really feel for these young people who are plunged into a wild, wild world. There is peer pressure, there is the effort at home for mama and papa to protect their child. But there again, papa and mama are caught in this entangled web of upkeep. They have to work hard, and sometimes the children are abandoned to themselves. And it is the television and the smartphone that is teaching them things. On the way to school is another matter, and in school, still another matter. So it is quite a task to handle the child. And when we read books like this, or when we write books like this, the idea is to help people learn something. Because in those days, you remember, parents were together in the evening telling stories, folk stories, but now it's not the case. So literature, fiction, poetry are in a way filling this gap. I know these days people are so much into smartphones and things that bring them to different worlds, but we're not focusing. So it is good for us to build family bonds through storytelling. And in the absence of those stories that were told yesterday, books should be read.
Okay. How does Enanga's story reflect the challenges faced by African girls and women in pursuing education, particularly in the face of cultural obstacles?
Correct. She went to school around 1960, and it was in the CDC school. She had to cover the distance from Downbridge, through GRT to CDC. And in those days, she was like the only girl in that school. It's like one sheep amongst goats. It was a challenge. Yes. And on her way to Okoyong, where she later went to school, she was sitting in a bus, a beautiful girl, and people were wondering why a girl would be going to school, instead of staying home to be married. Those were challenges. And thanks to conformity and a lot of serious breeding in those days, where the parents were able to contain their children. But today, the task is even more difficult because parents are also preoccupied doing other things. It's a world of materialism. And so some parents are making an effort, but many are abandoning the child. When you look around town and see people drinking in bars, you're asking the question, where are the children? The children are at home and the parents are not there. So the girl child is always facing a challenge, and we should sustainably protect the girl child.
The parents of Enanga actually did their best to give her the best education, the best of education.
Yes.
But she ended up getting pregnant while in school. Did they fail somewhere?
I wouldn't say so. Whether yesterday or today, the concept of failure is a different matter. Curiosity is a propensity for every person. The message we should be sharing with parents today is that please make time to be near your girl child in particular. These days, some parents give all kinds of phones to their children. You create a different world for them. And sometimes you think you are with your children, but they're very far away from you. And they learn all those lessons that you don't want to be mentioning.
You don't want to give.
Yes.
you don't want to take out time to give to them.
Yes.
Okay. It's time for us to take our Vox Pop. Who is to blame when a teacher engages in a love relationship with his student?
I think a teacher is to be blamed, especially a male teacher. If a male teacher approaches a student, I think that the man has belittled himself. And I believe that a teacher is to mold the student, not to corrupt the student. The same teacher is a parent. If the teacher sees another teacher dating a student, the teacher will feel bad. So I believe in 100% we have to blame the teacher.
The teacher is to be blamed. As a teacher, you have the moral obligation that your students are looking up to you. Even if a pupil or a student approaches you, for a student first of all approach you means that you are not mold as a teacher in the first place. But if a student should approach you, at least there should be a way of to stop the student. But if you give in, then you have to be blamed.
It's the teacher that has to be blamed because the teacher is a parent first, and he's a teacher. Why is he called a teacher? To teach that child of what the child doesn't know. When he now falls into love relation with the child, he has 100% to be blamed of having that idea or engagement with the student.
You're welcome back. Lucas, I just want to find out, when a teacher engages in a love relationship with his student, who is to blame?
The blame culture has bedeviled many gullible and ignorant citizens. I think the question is, what type of environment do we have, both for parents and their children, and also the school? Taboo subjects lend to difficulties, and we hardly ever know this. Many parents never discuss, family education with their children. At school in the state of Israel, and they don't call it sex education. They say family education, because that word sex pricks the mind and gets to emotions. And so the point we're making here is that every human being has emotions, but civility and dignity and sacrifice can help you control your emotions. And to know that if you are a teacher, for example, and you are teaching a student who needs a future, if you cannot hold yourself and protect your emotions to protect that girl, then you are a disaster. By the same token, if you are a girl reasonable enough to think, and you become so materialistic, and you don't limit your wants and services, then you get tempted because people want to brandish money to you. Then you are also to blame.
Okay. That is his own point of view. Now, you have raised the issue of unintended pregnancies and motherhood amongst young girls in the African societies. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, unintended pregnancies. Normally, you want to be married before you have a child. But the evolution has taken us to a point where the traditional values are not respected the same way as even the Western culture that we're emulating, we're not also respecting. Take note, in the average European or North American country, they tailor their family size as a function of their possibilities to educate their child. And when a family is on holiday, it's the whole family that's on holiday. When they are going to church, they're in the same car. There are a few exceptions, no doubt. But when in Africa, polygamy, and particularly in palaces, drives people to a place where they just deliver children with understanding that the road will take some, God will give their own, and death will take their share. These are defeatist tendencies, and so we should be tailoring our family and parenting to meet the changing times.
It's time for us to take On the Shelf, and Mabel Foncham is still there. She is talking to us today about what kind of services and resources libraries offer.
Libraries, as I mentioned earlier, should be located everywhere. So it means that they provide a wide variety of resources. They range from books to digital sources. And also, one very important thing that libraries are bringing this day is bringing what we say life to the library. And this is in the form of programs. So apart from the books, physical books that you find, we give access to digital resources, and then we do a lot of library programming. This programming could be on entrepreneurship, democracy, civic engagement. It all depends on whom your community is and also how you're responding to the needs or to the goals of the mother organization. Let me take a simple example. If you have a library in a school and that school deals with, let's say, geographical information, most of the time people requesting for geographical information will come to that. So you have geographical information services that they will provide. So it all depends on what you're looking for. But these days, libraries are doing a lot in terms of programming. So we are transitioning, not just relying on books, we're giving access to digital sources. And also, libraries are now serving as connectors between the community and the resources.
Welcome back. In a couple of minutes, we shall be saying au revoir, or we shall be saying goodbye for now. But our guest, the Honorable TANG Lucas, he doesn't want me to call him Honorable, but that's just how I know him, Honorable TANG Lucas. Before we go, how does your use of language and narrative style contribute to the overall impact of the story?
Very critical. If you have a story to tell and you use invectives and you are judgmental, you condemn some readers. But if you select your vocabulary items, especially this book is for young people, then you put it in affirmative language. You don't condemn them as such. Then you are helping them. A while ago, I told you that in some systems, when they come to family education, they say family education. They don't call it sex education. The language for a story is a function of the setting and the message you want to put across. If you use very big words, of course, you throw out many readers. But if you describe a scene using language that is strange, they will learn from it. And it's critical that you also come up with expressions that are life transforming. And you compare situations that can be compared. For example, when Enanga ran into difficulties with the Kome, two bankers, because of food that they served to their guests, you see, they were using two spectacles. The Western approach to presenting your menu to your people when they're coming, and then the African approach, you say, let people discover themselves. And so the point I'm making is that this book is good for from 1 up to even from 5 students, as it is good for university students who are doing critical analysis. Take note that some writers write, and then critics, take it as their business to analyze the book, and even decode more messages than the writer intended.
Definitely there will be a lot of people out there who want to read this book. Can you give us your contact?
Thank you for that. 6777 55770. I'll go over that again. 6777 55770. Arrangements are underway for it to be launched virtually, and those details will be given to those who are interested.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for having answered present today, and I hope that next time we'll have the time to talk about other books.
Can I give a last message?
Go ahead.
I am talking to my brothers and sisters, particularly those of them who have been leaving libraries throughout their careers, to use their pen and paper, computers this time, to write for posterity, and also to highlight the importance of a book in our culture. Because when people insult us and say that when you put ideas into a bottle of beer, Cameroonians will get it, that's an insult. Let us get out of that. And for writers to be accompanied by editors so that the books are palatable.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Honorable. And as I earlier said, I hope to see you here again so we can talk about
another book.
Another book.
In the not too long distant future.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, thank you for watching this edition of the program. If you missed out on this edition, therefore, you have the possibility of watching it at 5:30 p.m. this same day. Thank you for being there, and stay glued to CRTV News.